and I still remained silent. Then they came for me, and by then, there was no one left to speak for me. Madam Speaker, history teaches that democracy is not lost in one dramatic moment. It is lost when good people choose silence in the face of injustice. As legislators, we must always defend the Constitution, uphold the rule of law, and protect the rights and freedom of every Kenyan, regardless of their political affiliation. The recent rise in gun culture, allegedly under the watch of institutions that ought to protect our citizens, is deeply worrisome and should be condemned by all and sundry. Finally, to the great people of our constituency, thank you once again for demonstrating to the entire nation that power truly belongs to the people. No amount of intimidation, bribery, or abuse of state resources can defeat a determined and united electorate. I pay tribute to Zakaria Kakinya from Rorie Ward and James Moigai from Kaibaga, who paid the ultimate price for exercising their right to vote. May their innocent blood forever haunt the perpetrators. Let me equally extend the same to SCORE, who are beaten and maimed by a rogue regime that could not withstand humiliation in our Kalou constituency. We honor you. As I conclude, I'm reminded of the words written to King Belshazzar in the book of Daniel. When they were merrymaking, when they were eating and dancing, when they were enjoying, a lighting came on the wall. These words reached to all entrusted with power. Mene, mene tekel upasin. You have been weighed on the scale and found wanting. Your days are numbered. May God bless all Kalou constituency. May God bless Kenya. And may God bless all of us. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Wow.
Very well. Very well. We are back to order number 12. Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, let me rise to support this motion on consideration of session of paper number 7 of 2026, whose principal objectives, as the chair and the seconder have clearly stated, is one, to provide a very clear framework for investment and management of the National Infrastructure Fund's resources, and to finance commercially viable infrastructure. Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from the Honorable Ngogoyo. You know, Honorable Speaker, I know Ngogoyo wants to hear me saying something about my friend Ngotho, the Member of Parliament for Kalou. And this motion has only 5 minutes. If you indulge me an extra 1 minute.
Actually, honorable members, to all of us debating this motion, including the Leader of Majority, yes, it is 5 minutes.
So if you can indulge me, Honorable Speaker, for just an extra 2 minutes, because Honorable Ngogoyo does not know, on sessional papers you have only 5 minutes, including the Leader of Majority, yes, in contribution. So in just 2 minutes, let me just to buy the piece of some immaturity that I see, congratulates the Honorable Member for Kalou, Ngotho Kamau. A young man that I knew way back in 2021, when we worked together and campaigned, and he lost the Kalou seat. And following his work in 2021, he has now been elected as a member for Kalou, and I want to congratulate you. Let me congratulate you and tell you that you have a very short time to serve the people of Kalou. It may be a position that the people of Kalou, all Kalou, or indeed any part of Kenya, are being bribed with transformers. But the same people of Kalou will demand that you deliver power to them and you deliver transformers to them. So even with a well-rehearsed and well-written speech, I congratulate you. But may those who wrote it for you also know that the people will hold you to account, my brother. And you will remember me, Ngotho, because I know I have relatives in all Kalou, and he knows many of my relatives in that constituency. Honorable Speaker, back to this session of paper. We enacted the National Infrastructure Fund Act earlier this year. It was signed into law. A board has already been appointed after competitive recruitment, And now the National Treasury was required to bring this sessional paper on the investment policy that will guide us on how we finance commercially viable infrastructure of national significance, Honorable Speaker, how we mobilize both domestic and international finance to be able to finance in an alternative manner without necessarily going back to our taxpayers. Honorable Speaker, this investment policy, with the amendments that have been proposed by the committee, and I must thank the Committee of Finance and National Planning, because when I went through the report this morning, I hear the chairman was surprised that I tabled a report on his behalf. And he forgets when the Speaker approves a report, any committee's report, the office of the Leader of Majority gets a copy signed by the Speaker. And that is why I'm able to table these reports, even in the absence of the chairs. And I did that in Swahili, Honorable Speaker. And when I went through this report and the recommendations that the committee has carried, I could not help but notice that many of the recommendations that the committee is carrying are not recommendations that are coming from members of parliament, are recommendations that came from stakeholders, many of whom are private sector investment bankers, fund managers who appeared before the committee and sent numerous memoranda in their hundreds. And I think the chair has done that very well, captured all the memoranda that were sent both by private individuals, fund managers, investment bankers, on how we can further improve this investment policy to ensure that we are able to deliver to the people of Kenya. And Honorable Speaker, without saying much, let me say I support this report and the recommendations that have gone to improve on what had come from the National Treasury. In fact, I did note, and I was telling the chair yesterday, that I agree with one of the recommendations that sought to remove a minimum of 7.5% return to a positive return. Because you may restrict yourself in a policy like this on a number, and you never achieve that number, you never get investments that have that kind of return. But so long as you say a positive return, and you also restrict what kind of projects you can fund using this fund, because, Honorable Speaker, as we said, it is to finance commercial ventures that are commercially viable, Honorable Speaker. And I want to believe that this investment policy, with the recommendations that have been added by the committee in the adoption report, will go a long way to augmenting what we began in this House when we approved the National Infrastructure Fund Act bill that became an act of Parliament, Honorable Speaker. I therefore beg to support this session of paper approval and seek the support of the House. This is in the interest of the people of Kenya. And as we have said, this investment policy will go beyond the life of this Parliament, will go beyond our own lives. It will go to serve generations of our nation to come. Even at a time when we will not be in this House, we will not be leaders, but Kenya will remain and will continue to invest in a way that we have returns that benefit generations of our country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to support.
Honorable members, I know some members are coming to me with issues of statements. I need to reiterate that we reordered the order paper. We are now doing order number 12. We'll do order number 13 and then go back to statements. This motion has only 5 minutes for each speaker. Mayaka, if you intend to speak on this, use the intervention.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to also speak on this very important policy paper. Honorable Speaker, I want to, from the onset, just support this investment policy because, as it has been said by the mover of the motion and majority leader as well, this puts in place a specific framework that will enable the board to actually structure and ensure that the funds are used in the proper place. Honorable Speaker, some of the principles and advantages of this particular policy paper is in the fact that it gives commercial discipline. What I mean by commercial discipline, Honorable Speaker, is that it ensures that a fund that has been put for a specific type of project goes to that particular project. And Honorable Speaker, there are very many projects that have been put under this that are very, very key and very important. You look at different areas that have been considered. There's the transport infrastructure, there's energy, there's water, And for me, Honorable Speaker, especially under transport, where it speaks about not only the road infrastructure, but also the railway infrastructure, which are very key for us because we've seen some of those projects have already taken effect. But Honorable Speaker, what is also very key and very important is about the risk management guardrails that have been included in this particular policy paper. And Honorable Speaker, earlier today, we had a very interesting conversation in a meeting with young people from Kenya and civil society about the freedom of debt management